I definitely hope that the coverage will help break the code of silence.
A code of silence blocking justice for the loved ones of Erik Cross, but it is national exposure many of you saw right here on Fox 17 this week in a 32-year-long homicide investigation that's now breaking barriers in the town of Vicksburg. Rumors and stories that some have even deemed urban legend, all moving pieces in a cold case investigation now turned red hot. 32 years after losing a brother or a son, Erik Cross's family is beyond wondering if the then 16-year-old's death was an accident. Instead, focused on decades here of this code of silence to cover up his murder. Detectives tied to the case since the start opening up to Fox 17's Lauren Edwards about how close they are to finally solving this crime, saying new information and tips coming just this week have them one step closer to charging a killer.
We keep getting more and more data coming in, which gets us a lot closer to our target.
Public exposure, providing pressure and results.
The Crime Watch daily program aired, and from that we did get several phone calls. Several of those were quite promising. So we're pretty pumped about that.
Erik Cross's death in the summer of 1983, now less of a mystery, but more of a secret, shrouded in silence since the beginning.
We keep a lot of this investigation close to the vest, and it became clear to us that there was a concerted effort to cover up the incident, and a brick wall was built up. Some of the players involved in this matter are hiding behind that brick wall.
It was around 1 a.m. on June 26th when Erik was seen leaving a keg party at a friend's house less than a mile away from his Vicksburg home. Just a few hours later, his parents hear a loud muffler outside their home. Not long after, his father heads outside to grab the newspaper, finding Erik's lifeless body lying on the side of the road.
They got the call just before 6 o'clock in the morning.
Detective Sergeant Richard Madison, a 41-year-old veteran of the Sheriff's Department, was working patrol that 1983 summer morning.
I was working the day shift, or midnight shift, responded to the scene, and I came on at 8. They needed some assistance, and I was sent down to give my hand.
First we thought it was just a hit-and-run accident, but then not too long after that it occurred to us, and the evidence was pointing more to a homicide.
An autopsy revealing contusions, deep abrasions, visible rope burns, and other injuries inconsistent with a hit-and-run accident.
My father immediately thought that there had been foul play. He fought for years to get the Sheriff's Department to publicly admit that, which I don't think they ever did in the 80s. Even then, that was my father's quest, which he did not succeed in before he died, was to get them to admit, no, these teenagers deliberately targeted Erik for a reason.
There is a core group, if you will, of young people who, through the rumors, through their own admissions, since were together that late night and early morning hours.
A core group possibly responsible, including a prime suspect, Brent Spalding, his girlfriend at the time, Amber Thomas, for the first time named as a person of interest in the case this week.
These people, the suspects, the persons of interest, don't deserve to be hiding out, pretending to live a normal life, and not, coming forward and doing the right thing for Erik and for our family and for the whole community.
32 years after her brother's death, Jackie says it's about consequence, just as much as closure.
My father, when he was being interviewed by a newspaper in the 80s, he said that he felt it was our civic duty to pursue the justice for Erik, to pursue charges being filed. It's not a revenge thing because it won't bring Erik back. I think they should be in jail to protect the public. The reason why we want closure is because it's the right thing to do for people who have killed someone to be put in jail.
They know enough that if they admit anything, they're going to face the consequences themselves. So I think that keeps the core group quiet.
A code of silence, a brick wall, ready to be broken.
Now the family and the police and everyone have offered an olive branch to these folks, and we've been rather blunt about it. You can come in and talk to us, and we will help you navigate that brick wall and get around it from your side, and we'll do what we can. Or you can dance with the devil. You have to understand how a family feels in this matter, and they wanted to see closure on it 32 years ago, as did we. We're just a bit closer today than what we were then.
But just how close? Under Sheriff Matches says they're working with prosecutors as the case proceeds to bring closure to a case that has gained national attention. And the overwhelming national response and the new information have called for more manpower to be added to the case. Detectives are urging anyone with direct knowledge to what happened that night to come forward. Lauren Edwards in Kalamazoo County, Fox 17 News.
All right, our continuing coverage of this investigation does not stop here on air. We've also seen volunteers hold awareness events in recent weeks in the Vicksburg community, pushing for justice for Erik Cross. Those stories and much more on our website, fox17online.com.